Okay, let's go to, let's see, where are we at? There we go. Okay, so, hold on. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, it's wobbling everywhere. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So now we're going to go to number 10. And I want you to see what that looks like so far. Okay, we're picking up color number 10. Again, we're going to trim out that excess piece. We're going to check to see how big that is and trim out any of that excess material. Let's take it to the machine. I like this piece because it has the green in it. See that green? So I'm going to press that in the corner. That looks much better. And again, I'm overlapping it. Point to point. Lower my press foot. Lower my needle. And start my 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. As you notice, the foundation and the strips of material for the pineapple quilt block are getting bigger. Okay, flip that over. Lower your needle and let that stitch. That is going to set that stitch in there. You're not going to have anything opening, so it's going to take a lot of wear and tear when you use it as a blanket. Now I'm going to turn it up, trim off again. Going as close as I can to the edge, but not to the stitch line. I'm leaving a very tiny amount of material there. So there's that stitch line, but I'm actually going about 1 to 1/16 of an inch away from that. Again, I'm going to take this and press that. Don't forget to press the back. When you press, make sure you turn it around and press the back, because this is material in the back. You want to lock those stitches up. So that was number 10. This is number 11, and I'm going to pick a piece. And again, I want to show you how this is a sheet, but look at those blue and light color blues. So don't limit yourself. And another thing you can do, let me lift that up higher. You could turn your material around if you like. See how that changes everything? All of a sudden your eyes see a different color, array of color. I have that blue over here, which was a totally different pattern from a dress. Flip it around, and now your eye catches this blue. Flip it around, flip it around. So play with it. Don't just stay with one particular color and say, well, you know what, I like it this way, I'm going to keep it this way. I'm going to turn this around, like so. I'm going to use the opposite side. You can actually leave this huge long piece right here. Remember, this is at a diagonal, just to show you you can kind of use the diagonals. And now I'm going to take it to the machine. Point on point. Let that back stitch, let it do its thing. Okay. Now I'm going to take that piece of material. Slightly a little bit below that stitch line. And now that blue is not overbearing. Stick it over there so you could see it. It is not like it was here, that it was a little overbearing, the whole color scheme. So now I'm going to press that. I'm going to find the next one, which would be number 12, and I'm following it with a sequence, and then I'll be back. Now here is an unusual piece I'm going to select. Why? Because it has that blue, and I can even have it like this, but I'm going to turn it in there like this. Let's see. Actually, like this looks kind of, let me see. Play with the colors, play with them. There it goes. There I have it here, point on point. It's going to change it a little bit. Let me put that up. Voila, look at that. It's going to change it a little bit. Add a little element of surprise. Flip that over. Saving that piece. Pick up all that excess. Throw that away. And now I'm going to go to 13. Here's my next piece. Remember, you can always turn it around. Look how different that looks. You can turn around your plaids. Okay. So point on point. You notice some of it's a little overlapping because I didn't trim them up, but it's going to go under there. So point on point, take it to the machine, over your needle, that's a 1/4 inch seam allowance. I have really bad allergies, I mean super bad. Okay? So you'll hear me sniffle a lot. And I'm going to lower that again. I forgot to do the back stitch. Flip that over. And see all these beautiful array of colors. It just really amazes me how this comes out like this. And all I'm using is all the scrap materials that I had from various projects that I've done. And you notice it's getting larger and larger. And I want you to see how that orange is affecting this orange. So these are prints. Let me get you an example. All they are is prints like this. And I had little strips of these, and I said to myself, I wanting to use them for a long, long time. And look, it's in there. And it's got a little element of surprise. There's a little dog howling away. Or I mean the wolf, not a dog. And now I'm going to trim off the dog ears. These extra pieces that I don't save these pieces, by the way. It's just too small for me. Somebody else might want to save those. Okay, now I'm going to take this and press. Now I'm going to select the next color, which would be 14, and I'll be back. Okay, the next color is selected, and I want you to see that. And the reason why is watch. See how that all blends in? It's got the blue turquoise. And we want to do point on point. Point. Let's turn that around. Let me trim that off a little better. I'll be back. Okay. So I trimmed that off much better. Remember, it's overlapping. The pieces are getting bigger. Taking it to the sewing machine, dropping my needle in position, and sewing away. 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. Let it backstitch. You can actually trim these right now if you like. You don't have to wait till the last minute. Let's sew that. The little prairie dog is still there. That's what that is. That's a prairie dog. It's not a wolf. Let it backstitch by itself. Take the corners, flip them over. Cutting the dog ears off. If there's dog ears, you want to trim those off. I'm going to take it to the iron and press it. I'll be back. Hello. So I'm going to show you something. Every once in a while, I'll bite off more than I can chew. I made this piece a little too small. So all I did was add the same piece, sewed on top of it like I did, like I've been doing here. And that solves that problem. So every once in a while, we all make mistakes. So here is 14. It's all done. And the colors are really blending in really beautifully. And now I'm going to select piece number 15. Now I've got my next piece. And we're on number 15. So let's point on point. Take it to the sewing machine. Drop your needle down or lower your needle down. stitch. It's 1/4 inch seam allowance. Point on point. Very important. Threaded back stitch. I like to decorate my pattern like this with that stitch, plain straight stitch. Now if your machine has a beautiful embellished stitches, utilize those stitches. Make yours yours. Yes, it takes a lot of time, but the end results are beautiful. If you're giving it as a keepsake to your family, what they would treasure as a gift from you. See, this one's a little over. I'm not worried about that because that's going to be all trimmed up. But you have to be aware of that. This is my second little boo-boo, but I'm not worrying about it at all. See, that's going to be, all this is going to be, see where I have these little markings at? Right here. There's little marks. All that is going to be trimmed off, which is about, I don't have a ruler, but it's about maybe a 1/2 inch you're going to trim off. So this quilt is going to shrink. So now we did 14, 15, 16, 17 is next, and I'll be back. Okay, I've got that beautiful bright yellow. I'm going to utilize that point on point, overlapping those stitches, making sure that it goes right on point on point. Lower my presser foot down, lower my needle, and create that 1/4 inch. Stop at your point B, back stitch. Pick up your presser foot, open up that and let it flip over. Drop your, well, not drop, I keep saying drop, but lower your presser foot down and let your machine go. I'm pretty sure you said that yellow, but look at that. With the colors surrounding it, it just blends in there. Isn't that beautiful? So I'm going to trim the points and I'll be back. Here is the blue. Look at that blue. It's got some pretty design element. I'm going to utilize that sign. This is actually the front, but I like the back, the inside better. So I'm going to take that point on point, and I'm going to take it to the sewing machine, and I'm going to add that piece of beautiful blue. Oh, I just realized something. I already have blue here. That's another thing you have to keep an eye on, that you don't accidentally add the same color on the same thing. So this has a nice color right here. Let's see how that looks. Will it offset that or just change everything? Let's take a look. It's fine. You can actually play with the pieces to find the right piece that will blend in with that. If you turn it around, it's a little too busy for me, so I'm going to take that out. But I do have some material here that can really change the look. Look at that. Move it around. Oh, you can't see what I'm doing. Here's a piece. And why am I selecting this color? It has turquoise, it has the blues, it has the wine yellow, and it has the black, which is actually around this quilt if you look carefully. So I like it right there. And you could turn it around. Maybe you want it this way. See how that changes that piece? But again, I want it this way. So I'm going to lay it point to point. Take it to the machine. Lower my presser foot down, lower my needle, and I'm going to sew that 1/4 of an inch. Move that over a little bit so you can see. Keeping an eye on my point. Let that do its magic. I'm going to turn that over and trim that piece right now. And you notice I made it bigger because I want it over there. I'm not saving this tiny piece. I do want to trim this. Well, I can trim this out a little later. Let me just fold it over and sew that. Lower my presser foot. Lower my needle. And look at how that looks with that. I'm going to keep an eye on where that and back stitch. Okay. I'm going to press this and I'll be back. And look at how that blends in with this piece. That's what you want to do. You want to blend in your pieces. So that was 16, 17. Now we're on 18, and we need to find a piece that would more or less match that. But look at how that looks. Look how that looks. And I'll be back. Here is a beautiful piece for this corner right here. I want you to see the colors. There's the lavender, and the lavender is right here. The lavender is here. So, excellent choice. And then look at the big daisy. It just coincides with that. So, we're going to go over that corner to corner. Take it to the machine. Overlap it to the point on point. Lower my presser foot and my needle and go ahead and you notice the piece got a lot larger. And at the end, let it backstitch. Okay, pick up that, open it up, press. You'll probably need your little stiletto to lay that flat. But now that looks really beautiful. Press it and I'll be back. Look at those array of colors so far. Isn't that beautiful? It's like a window of material just laid out for you. Okay, so now we're going to go to 19 and then 20 and I'll be back. Okay, look what I found. Look at that. That piece is going to blend in with the rest of the pieces. So let's lay it on point to point. Take it to the machine. I'm going to flip it over right now and show you how I trim off these from the back instead of from the front. Let me first lay that correctly. See? And then I'm going to take it and trim off like this. Now I'm going to flip that over and sew that piece down. You still need to trim it. I know you were saying, you can't use those pieces, it's not going to look good. But it does. Okay. Turn it around. Now you've got all this extra material. You want to trim that out. You want to iron it. Actually, you want to press it. So look at that, how that changed that one little area. And now we're going to add a piece for number 20, and I'll be back. Now I can use this piece that I was going to add too close over there, but now I can add that piece here. Let's see. That one, or I could take, let me see if I got a smaller piece, or I can utilize this piece. And that changes the whole everything. And I think we'll stick with this one instead and use this for number 21. So let's get our piece lined up. Overlap it a little bit. Remember, they're getting longer. Let's take it to the sewing machine. Lower our presser foot. Quarter of an inch. Symbolize. Back stitch. That gingham looks really nice, doesn't it? I'm going to trim it and I'll be back. Let's pick 21 and I'll be back. The color for 21, the pattern, the piece for 21. Okay, here's the tie-dye material that I tie-dyed many years ago. But I want you to see all the colors it has in there. So let's overlap that corner to corner, like so. And we can actually even use that side. See? Let's use this is the right side, this is the wrong side. We're going to use the right side and we're going to have it facing up. And the wrong side is going to be there. This is the last piece, the Tarlatan plaid. I'm going to have to cut later. Not right now. I'm not going to add that to the very end. Pressing. And here is our piece, our final piece. And I'm going to twirl it around so you can see how every single piece marriages with all the other pieces. When you thought this piece was not going to work, it literally has worked, because you'll notice the little peekaboos of colors in there are around this quilt. See the color peekaboos? And again, the last thing is to cut a 5-inch square, because this is only 4.5, and 4 of these will be added to each corner to create that beautiful finish block like that. Thank you for joining me. Have a wonderful, blessed day. Love y'all.